Hello everyone, welcome to day 11 of the 60-day 60-minute challenge where we'll be studying the portion of UGC NET Management for 60 days. So today we start with day 11 where we study the unit 1 of UGC NET Management. So let's get started. The price. What is consumer surplus and producer surplus, and how putting a price floor or a price ceiling affects the equilibrium point and the demand and supply. We also studied about elasticity and inelasticity of demand, where if any parameter causes a very high change in demand, then we call it elastic demand for that product. Example, if we are studying price elasticity of demand, so if any small amount of price causes very high change in demand, we call it very high elasticity price demand elasticity. And if even of changing of any given parameter there is no change in demand, we call it highly inelastic demand. So there will be perfectly inelastic, and everything in between. Today we'll continue with nature of goods and their income elasticities. So this we had studied. Giffen goods were a rare substitute of inferior goods, where people buy more as price rise, because it is inferior good, but it is a requirement. You can, like, if even if its price increase, we have to buy it. So we have no other option than that. It is the lowest quality of food that is that is available, and if its price rise, obviously we can't afford the ones above it. So now studying the elasticities with respect to income. If income increases, what do people do? So given goods income elasticity is strongly negative. So with respect to price it will be different, but we are talking here with respect to income. If a person's income increase, then obviously they will first switch off, they will stop eating given goods which are inferior goods. So very strong negative elasticity. As income rises, the consumption of given goods decreases. Price elasticity will be somewhat different. We are talking income elasticity. Inferior goods will be a little like the elasticity will be negative. Not strongly negative, but negative, because first people don't want to eat this given goods which they are forced to. So as income increases, then the income elasticity of inferior goods would be negative, as demand decreases when income rises, but less dramatically than given goods. Necessities, very low income elasticity from 0 to 1. People continue buying necessities even as income rises, but demand increases less. But demand increases less than proportionally. Even if you are a family of 5, 6 eating milk, rice, electricity is necessities, so there with the rise in income it would increase proportionally, because how much rice can 5 or 6 people eat? How much milk? It was already consuming it in the required amount previously. Then comes normal goods with a moderate positive income elasticity. Demand increases as income rises, but slows down. Further increase it is. Then comes luxury good, which is very high income elasticity. As income increases above your minimum requirement, you prefer luxury goods. And then comes web goods, where people prefer it, very high positive elasticity. You have very high income, you have as income increases, so does the requirement of Veblen goods. So designer handbags, luxury watches, high-end cars, you can say. Mark this as complete. We see strategies for high income elastic product. Now if your product belongs to the if your product belongs to the category of high income elastic product, so what should you do? You should invest in premium positioning and brand building, your product line expansion, introduce higher ambience or luxury versions to capture more of the market of the more of the surplus income. You should do geographical expansion into affluent emerging markets, target markets with rising middle or upper class. As you can see, all the luxury brands are doing in India right now from the US. They are coming to India to capture these markets which are having rising middle and upper class. Mm. Then customer experience investment, enhancing the shopping experience, customer service or exclusive access to services key for luxury and high-end goods. Dynamic pricing and customization often offer customized or bespoke options that appeal to wealthier consumers willing to pay custom fast, tailored routing, sustainable and ethical branding. Or wealthier consumers often value ethical production and sustainability. Position products as eco-friendly or socially conscious, can strengthen brand equality. So this we know. Now how to place your income elasticity. It falls into the region of low income elasticity. Then you need to diversify. Firms may expand their product line to include goods with higher yield, income elasticity of demand, to capitalize on increasing consumer spending, cost efficiency, maintaining or improving cost structures, improving fixed cost and variable cost, helps firm remain competitive when demand is less responsive to income changes. Targeting lower income segments, focusing on markets where income growth is still occurring, can help firms maintain demand for the product. So if a lower quality, let's say rice that you are growing and you want to sell, then you can target let's say countries where there is high malnutrition, where that would be the preferred option for people, because instead of having nothing they would prefer rice to it, not of high quality because they cannot afford it, but of low quality because they are malnourished. Brand repositioning, rebranding efforts can attract higher income consumers, though this depends on the product and market conditions. Product innovation, enhancing existing products or introducing new features can stimulate demand even when income elasticity is low. So this is now, what are substitute goods? Just like we studied extreme cases of Veblen goods and Giffen goods, we are going to study what are substitute and complementary goods now. Mm, Substitute goods are products that can be used in place of another to satisfy the same need. When the prices of one increases, consumers may switch to other. Example: tea and coffee, butter and margarine, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So cross price elasticity: if the price of good A increases, the demand for good B increases. Positive cross price elasticity means if demand price of good A increases, demand for good B increases. The more closely related the substitutes, the higher the positive elasticity. See, it is opposite. It's not the price of good A increases, price of B increases. It is a price and demand. If price of one increases, the demand of other increases. Then we have complementary goods. Complementary goods are products that are used together. An increase in the price of one leads to a decrease in the demand of other. So this complementary goods can be considered as ink printers and ink cartridges. If let's say price of ink increase, price of printers increases, people will not buy it. So price demand for ink cartridge will decrease. car and fuel, mobile phone and mobile phone subscriptions. So substitute goods. If the price of one increases, the demand for other increases. Complementary opposite. If the price of one increases, the demand for other decreases. Mark is complete. Now we study the methods of demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is a process of estimating future customer demand for a product or service over a specific period based on historical data, market trends, and other relevant factors. It helps businesses. Just let me check. Okay. So there was a we'll study again. Demand forecasting is a process of estimating future customer demand for a product or service of specific period. Based on historical data, market trends, and factors, it helps businesses make informed decisions regarding production, inventory management, pricing, and marketing strategies. Accurate demand forecasting ensures demand can meet customers. So what are the methods of demand forecasting? There is statistical method using historical data and statistics like time series analysis, regression analysis to predict future demand. Then is the survey method. The ability involves directly asking consumers, customers, or businesses about their future buying intentions through questions or interviews. It's especially useful for new products or services. Delphi method. The Delphi gathers forecast from a panel of experts. Experts answer surveys independently, and after each round, they receive feedback on the group's responses. A tech company uses the Delphi method by consulting a panel of industry experts to forecast. The Delphi's experts. Barometric method uses leading economic indicators to predict future demand. It assumes that economic conditions are strongly correlated with demand. Econometric method. This method uses mathematical models and statistical data to analyze the relationship between demand and various economic factors. Economic factors. Models and statistical data. Expert opinion method, somewhat similar to Delphi method, relies on judgment of experienced managers, industry experts, consultants who predict future demand based on knowledge and experience. Trend projection method. However, in the current economy, I don't believe you can label someone as expert because the technology and the trends has changed so rapidly that even experts to only a certain extent can predict what could be the future demand of future scenarios. Trend projection. This method involves analyzing historical demand data to identify trends and extrapolating these trends into the future. The assumption is that past trends will continue in the future. Salesforce opinion method. This method involves gathering insights from the sales teams who interact directly with customers and have first-hand knowledge of their needs and purchasing intentions. Market test method. This involves introducing new product or services limited region to check how is the response of the customers to that product. And machine learning uses advanced algorithm and machine learning model to analyze large data sets and predict future. Planning premise definition and importance. This we had studied under planning, right? Let's see it again. Planning premise are the assumption or conditions about the environment in which the plan is expected to operate. They are based on forecast known conditions or assumptions about future trends and factors that may affect the operation of the plan. These premises form the upon which the entire planning process is built. Characteristics of planning premise. Applied anticipated environment. Planning premise refers to the environment that is expected to prevail in the future. This could include factors such as economic conditions, market trends, political factors, technological advancement, or social changes. These elements help of plan. So planning after studying planning premise, when you make a decision and you take and then you wait for the unknown, then they are based. It is called as forecast. Or the opposite, if you know the forecast is known conditions or assumptions about future trends and factors, then you can use for that. to decide what in which environment how is the plan to be executed in the current environment. Characteristic of planning premise: anticipated environment. Planning premise refers to the environment that is expected to prevail in the future. This could include factors such as economic conditions. Assumptions and forecast. Planning premise typically include assumptions or forecast about the various factors. For example, a company may assume that market conditions will remain stable or that inflation rates will remain low. These assumptions directly influence the formulation of plans and uncertainty and risk. Since planning premises are based on forecast and assumptions, they inherently carry some degree of uncertainty. As a result, managers must evaluate risk and adjust plans if actual conditions deviate from the assumed premises. Types of planning premise: internal and external. Based on internal factors and external factors. A company planning to expand into a new market may base its plan on the assumption the demand for its products will increase by 10% in the next year, which is derived from market research and industry trends. This assumption becomes a planning premise for the company's expansion plan. Forecasting role in planning, which we recently studied, we can go through this and the relationship between planning and forecasting. So, a manufacturing company may forecast that raw materials cost will rise by 8% over the next year. This forecast influences the company's planning premise that future product costs will increase, leading to changes in pricing, strategy, budgeting, and procurement planning. Distinction between forecast and planning premise. The act of predicting future demands that may affect the organization. It is an analytical process that helps estimate future outcomes based on available data. Planning premise: these are assumptions or conditions on which plans are based. Planning premise take into account the forecast but also include broader assumption about the business internal capability or planning premise are used to guide certain decision making within a framework of the forecasted environment. We had already studied the you know demand analysis planning previously, so we just started maybe, yeah, because here there is demand forecasting. That's why planning premise versus forecast is the planning we studied in management functions, and here we are studying the forecasting. So next comes the market structures. We go first. So there are four types of market structures. First comes the perfect combination. This we can understand that in a perfectly competitive market there are many small firms all selling the same product. Everyone has idea of how to make that product. No firm has control over the price and there is free entry and exit from the market. Characteristics: large number of buyers and sellers, homogeneous identical products. No firm in a perfectly competitive market. There are many small firms all selling identical products. No firm has any control over the price, and there is free entry and exit from the market. A large number of buyers and sellers, homogeneous identical products, no barriers to entry or exit. Perfect knowledge among buyers and sellers. Firms are price takers. Role of advertising: advertising plays no role as products are identical and consumers have perfect information. At best, advertising in this type of market can be aimed at emerging, enlarging the overall market size. So if you have a perfect competition, you should never spend on advertisement. That is what we need to learn. For example, by encouraging more people to use a product category as a whole, not to promote one brand over another. Sunday ho ya Monday rose khao one day type of situation. Example: the market for agricultural products like wheat or rice, where many farmers sell identical products at market determined prices. Monopoly: a monopoly exists when a single firm controls the entire market of product. This is the exact opposite of a perfect competition. There are high barriers to entry. There are no close substitutes available for the product. One seller controls the market, no close substitutes for the product, high barriers to entry. The firm is price maker, setting the price higher than in competitive markets. The role of advertising is mainly informative or used to maintain public goodwill and demand. Monopolistic competition. This market structure features many firms that sell differentiated products. There is some control over prices due to product differentiation, but barriers are to entry are relatively low. Many sellers, product differentiation, some control over prices, low barriers to entry, non-price competition. Role of advertising. Advertising is crucial to differentiate products and build brand preferences. Market for fast food where many restaurants offer similar products but with different taste and quality. And branding, monopolistic competition, oligopoly. An oligopoly exists when a few large firms dominate the market. These firms may sell identical or differentiated products and have significant control over pricing. Firms in oligopolistic markets often engage in strategic behavior, price fixing, advertising, or collusion. So monopolistic competition, let's say from monopoly, the market has evolved and instead of one supplier, now there are a few many firms sell the product but differentiated. There is some control over the prices. So after, we can say, after monopoly comes oligopoly, where only a few large firms dominate the market. So they might sell the same or differentiated product but have significant control over pricing, because let's say instead of just one company, now there are only four or five. For example, the uh, telecom industry, correct? We only have four to five competitors: Geo, Vodafone, Idea, Airtel, and so on, BSNL. Would be a term of an oligopoly. These firms sell identical products and have significant control over pricing. What you'll observe is if Jio raises the price by 10 rupees for 56 days, a 2 GB plan, similar price increase will be done by other telecom operators. So characteristics of few large firms dominate the market. High barrier to entry. Products may either be homogeneous or differentiated. Firms are interdependent. The action of one firm affects the other. There is potential for collusion, price fixing agreements. Advertising is used strategically to capture market share and counter rivals. The automobile industry, where a few major players control a large portion of the market. An oligopolistic firm cannot decide the price it wishes to charge as well as the quantity it wishes to sell at the same time. An oligopolistic firm takes into consideration the competitors' actions and counteractions because of a strong interdependence among their competitive firms. So that is that oligopoly, monopolistic competition. This market structure features many firms that sell differentiated products that are similar but not identical. There is some control over prices due to product differentiation, but barriers to entry are relatively low. There are many sellers, product differentiation. Each firm offers a slightly different product, some control over prices, low barriers to entry and exit, non-price competition. Advertising is crucial to differentiate products and brand preference. Smaller realistic competition. So this is done. Market structures, and there are four type is monopolistic competition. Structure features many firms that sell differentiated products. Some control over price due to product differentiation, but barriers of entry are relatively low. Many sellers, product differentiation. Each product offers a slightly different product. So this would be like fast food or restaurants or selling ice creams or products like burgers, pizzas, where the difference in taste, quality, and branding are there, but slight differentiation, only slight. So this would come between monopolistic. First, we see on one extreme is monopoly. Only one firm or organization controls the entire market for a product. Then comes oligopoly with time, as the patents are expired and other players enter into the market. Then oligopoly, the market structure forms oligopoly, where few firms dominate the market. Then after some time it will become a monopolistic competition, and at the end it will become perfect competition. Also remember, the highest money over want to make generationally happens in monopoly, and perfect competition leads to hardly any, over long term hardly any, or you know income or profits over the long term, not so preferable for perfect competition. So now we'll study the collusive models. In these models, firms cooperate either formally or informally to reduce competition and maximize joint profits. Cartel, a formal agreement among firms to coordinate pricing or output. Profit sharing, firms agree on output pricing to maximize profit, then share it based on formula. Market firms divide the market geographically or by customers but retain price independence. Market sharing cartel could happen in these internet the your internet suppliers, broadband based. It's very much common in that market, the broadband based internet service providers. There the market sharing capital comes into effect where where the markets are divided is geographically or by geographically this region belongs to, like, even if you go and ask for a connection, there only connection of a particular internet will be available, official, even officially official companies also. But there are innovations taking place. Instead of broadband taking a wire from the nearest connection, now fiber plans are coming up, and dish satellite type of internets are coming up where uh, you know they take the Wi-Fi is inside your house and the dish or sort of a box is connected outside, just outside your window, which connects directly to the nearest tower or satellite, as they say, but mostly the nearest tower. So that is how this model will devolve in internet broadband. Profit sharing capital firms agree on output pricing to maximize total profit, then share it based off a formula. People might fix the price of the product, so which can lead to uh, people raising the equilibrium point, and people have feeling having people needing to share, buy it for more price, which increases the profits of the sellers. Price leadership. One dominant firm sets the price, others follow. This happens as we just recently talk about telecom operators. If Jio raises the price, or let's say other companies raise the price, the rest of the companies will follow the same decision. So dominant firm price leadership, the largest firm sets the price. Barometric price leadership, a firm with good market judgment becomes the price setter. Firm forces others to follow by cutting prices. Three types of leaderships. Avoids open collusion, price stability without explicit agreement. Smaller firms accept their leaders' pricing to avoid price wars. Non-collusive models. In non-collusive models, it is assumed that the firms do not cooperate or collude but act independently in their own interest. First is a Carnot model, developed by Augustine Carnot, developed by quantity competition. New firms produce a homogeneous product. Carnot model was the first, followed by 1883 Bertrand model, followed by Stackelberg model, followed by King demand curve model, which is 1940. So this is how it was developed. Carnot model says few firms produce a homogeneous product. Firms choose output simultaneously and independently. Each firm aims to maximize its own profit. Market price depends on total market output. No collusion among firms. The stand game. Each firm chooses an output level assuming the rival's quantity is fixed. The market price is determined by total quantity supplied from both firms based on their demand curve. Since each firm's profit depends on both its own and competitors' output, firms adjust their quantities in response to each other's decision. The process continues until a stable Nash equilibrium is reached, where neither firm has an incentive to change its output. Carnot equilibrium, each firm produces the quantity that maximizes its profit given the competitor's output. This results in a stable market output where firms have no incentive to change their production. Carnot equilibrium, at equilibrium, each firm produces the quantity that maximizes its profit given the competitor's output level. Bertrand model, Joseph Bertrand, price competition. First was quantity competition. Second is price competition of Bertrand model. Few firms producing homogeneous products. Firms set price simultaneously and independently. Consumers buy from the lowest price firms. Performance, perfect information and no transaction cost. Firms undercut each other's prices until prices margin is equal to marginal cost, known as Bertrand paradox. Even with few firms, the outcome resembles perfect competition and assumes no product differentiation. So first is quantitative competition but trend model, aka quantity competition, aka but trend model. Stackelberg model, which is quantity competition with sequential moves. It means there are two firms, leader and follower. The leader sets output first, followed the follower responds after observing the leader's decision. Firms produce homogeneous products. Goal is profit maximization. The leader has first mover advantage and earns higher profits. The follower reacts optimally based on the leader's choice. Total market output is higher than Carnot but less than perfect competition. So next comes Sweezy's kinked demand model curve. They're developed by Paul Sweezy. Focuses price rigidity in oligopoly, because we know oligopoly, we know just below monopoly means a few players who dominate the market. And this conditions are, if a firm raises the price, we see others do not follow, loss of market share. Correct. If the firm lowers the price, others follow, no real gain in share. So see, as per the conditions that we are studying here, kinked demand curve model says that if it is an oligopoly, which we know that telecom operator is, if the firm raises prices, others will not follow and market share. And if the firm lowers price, others will have to follow and there will be no real gain in share. Correct. So, but we see the real life scenario of Jio, Airtel, Vodafone. What has happened is, uh, if one increases the price, the others also increase. So one might think there is collusion because one is increasing the other. But what I believe has happened is, these are large MNCs, correct? Now they need to, because they are in like competition with each other, uh, like they have to, they are going to set the same price which they get, but they have to give, get tender from the government and buy those spectrums on which to operate. So if they, like if I buy it at cheaper, I have less operating cost, more scope for profit. Similarly here you can see, in real life margins are so low and their employees are so high, the competition is so high, that when the price is rising, the others are increasing the price as well. It just means they are operating below the equilibrium point. That's why they haven't reached the equilibrium point. Once they reach the equilibrium point, what will happen after they try to increase from the equilibrium point? The demand will not follow. But yeah, this is an ideal scenario. Mm, so yes, creates a king in the demand. Demand curve is elastic above the kink and inelastic below. Price stability even without collusion. What is happening in case of Jio and Airtel and as such is, even if they are increasing, others have to increase. Even if it's decreasing, others have to decrease. Which shows that although the competition seems like a few firms dominating the market, which in the nature it is, looking as oligopolistic, but it seems it is perfect competition. Now, what is the sales maximization model developed by William Baumol, an American economist? Key features of the sales maximization model focuses on sales volume over profit. In the sales maximization models, firms seek to achieve the key features of sales maximization model. And Baumol introduced this model as an alternative to traditional profit maximization model. He argued that firms, particularly in oligopolistic markets, might prioritize maximizing sales instead of focusing purely on profit, often aiming for a satisfactory level of profit while emphasizing sales growth as a strategic objective. This model was developed business behavior where firms might pursue market share or long-term growth over short-term profit. These happens. Best case example, Geo. When Geo entered, it focused not on profits but on sales, but on increasing, maximizing sales. That's why it sold so less, even for free, and then it started charging you. That you can see, it prioritized maximizing sales initially. See, after 5 years, it has developed. realize this, just ask yourself this question: when Geo was introduced, I believe you might be paying anywhere between 150 to 200 rupees for a plan every month, but now check how much you are paying per month at a minimum. So yes, so this is done. Focuses on sales volumes over profit. Now, just we right now we studied second monopolistic firms, which is true in case of Geo. Third, profit satisfying. Firms follow the sales maximization model often aim for satisfactory profits, meaning they focus on achieving adequate rate of return that satisfies their shareholders and stakeholders. So profit satisfying. Firms following the sales maximization meaning long-term growth focus. This also is, you know, one of the outcomes of key features we can say. Criticism. Short-term profit sacrifice. In case of Geo, we can directly see it. Potential for market saturation. Overemphasizing sales can lead to market saturation where there are not enough new customers to maintain the growth sales, leading to diminishing rate. This could happen, but in case of Jio, this did happen because they went even to the grassroots levels of the country, increasing the 5G coverage in the network of the area and increasing the overall market for telecom industry. Investor concerns. Investors and shareholders might not always support this strategy as they are typically more focused on profit growth and dividends rather than increasing sales volume. Then we come to price discrimination. Price discrimination refers to a pricing strategy where a seller charges different pricing to different customers of the same product, not based on cost differences but on differences in willingness to pay. A software company charges lower price to students than to corporate clients for software. You see, this happens. Most software companies they want to capture the future market, so they either give it for low prices or free to students because they are going to become the workforce of the future. And if they use their product now, later on they will be able to charge them. That is the idea. Or any see, understand this. Any software company's aim is only one thing. They want you to get in their, they want you to get in the door. They they want to just get in the door. I butchered it, but okay. What it means is they want to first make you their subscriber with whatever way possible. Free subscription, free 1 month, this and that. So that when you become used to it, then people don't like switching, so they don't switch. Example of this. Let's say um, any software, SaaS software that you are using, let's say 3D modeling or something, they will give you the for students it is free to use. Then because once you come out of how many years you will study, 2 years, 4 years, and then when you come out into the workforce, which is a span of 40 years, you will be familiar with it. You won't prefer to change. You will think you will have to learn new models to do the same work, so you will not try to switch and instead pay it. And because you most probably you will be working for a company, the company will be charged for it. So that is how the model works. Even in case, let's say, of Google Drive or other market models, you can see Google Drive, what does it do? It gives you free for the first 10 some few rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees a month for the first 3 months, and then it increases the price. Once you start using it, it becomes very difficult for you to switch. And this is the model that they're using now. Previously, what model they use? They use the same model. They give you free 15 GB usage, and then they charge you. And even if they charge you, they give you first 3 months at a lower price to settle you in, and then they charge you more because they know once you just need to subscribe once, and then the recurring payment will take care of everything. You see. Now, essential conditions for price discrimination. For price discrimination to be successful, a firm must satisfy three essential conditions across different markets. Okay, market segmentation. The firm must be able to divide market into distinct groups of consumers based on differentiated characteristics, age, location, and income. For example, The rate of interest is different for senior citizens and the other all the other people. Different segments must exhibit varying willingness to pay, ensuring that each group can be charged at a different price. Different elasticities of demand. The firm must identify that different consumer groups have different prices. For example, students may be more price sensitive, higher elasticity than business travelers who may be willing to pay more for the same product or service. This allows the firm to charge higher prices to less price sensitive consumers and lower prices to more price sensitive consumers. Prevention of resale. There must be no possibility of resale between consumers in different segments. This has to be ensured. If consumers who buy at a low price can resell to those who face high price, it undermines the price discrimination. This condition ensures market segment remains isolated, allowing the firm to maintain different prices for different groups. Market power element. The firm must have some degree of market power, enabling it to act as price maker rather than price taker. In a perfectly competitive market, firms cannot charge different prices. They are forced to accept the market price. A firm needs to be able to set price independently, which usually requires a monopoly or monopolistic competition structure. Example of price discrimination: movie theaters offering student and senior discounts, airlines charging different fares based on booking time and flexibility, software companies offering lower prices in developing countries. Now we come to the full cost pricing theory. So, what is the full cost pricing theory? Uh, Hall and Hitch's full cost pricing theory, proposed in 1939, is a concept in economics that explains how firms set prices based on their total cost rather than purely on market forces. So it says that first, if I want to do a business, what I do is I calculate my cost, the average of fixed cost, the variable cost, then I add it up. I add the average fixed cost, the variable cost, and the overhead average overhead cost, and then the normal profit margin, and then I decide the price, whatever it is. So what happens is I know that I will spend 100 rupees in making this. I know I will get 25 rupees out of it as profit. So I set the price at 125. Focus on long-term stability. What happens is this ignores demand elasticity. This can also happen that there are some such companies like this. It is not suitable for competitive market and less flexibility, like Indian Railways or FMCG. FMCG, some companies selling biscuits, 10 rupees. They will decide, okay, this if my margin is 20%, I will make whatever uh, product I can. I can make eight biscuits in 8 rupees. Okay, so I will make eight biscuits, market sell it for 10 rupees. If the price of raw materials increases, I will just decrease the number of biscuit because I want to keep the margin same and the price same. So that is how it happens. So we understood this, whereas for the others we were studying the demand. This is a layman's idea how they calculate profit. Most person do not have understanding of this whole economics model. Oh, this is how it works. Okay, I will track the demand, I will track the supply, I will find the equilibrium point, I will sell nearest to it. No, this is a layman's idea basically. Whole full cost pricing theory. How a layman, when starting a business, most people in the world try to determine how to set the price for the product. So yeah, we have covered good. We have covered a half of demand analysis today. We have covered market structures today. Let's take a 5 minute, or we can cover this. This is only, yeah, 2 points. Let's take a 5 minutes break. Right now it is 7:41. Let's take a come back at 7:45. 3 minutes break, and then we'll continue to study national income a little bit, and then inflation we can start from tomorrow. We'll again start practicing after national income. So let's get back to national income, right? So what is national income? It is the total income earned by the citizens of a country in the form of wages, profits, rent, interest. It includes the value of all final goods and services produced within the nation's borders of a given period, typically a year. National income helps measure economic activity of a country, including the total output of goods and services, total income earned by citizens, the economic well-being of a country. Okay, types of national income: gross domestic product, gross national income. It is the total monetary value of all final goods and services produced within a country's borders in a specific time. This can include the product and services developed by nationals of that country and foreigners as well. So GDP is consumption expenditure, private sector spending on goods and services, plus investment expenditure, spending on capital goods, expenditures by government on goods and services, plus exports minus imports. The total value of all cars, computers, food products, and other goods produced in a year in India in a year. GNP's gross national product is the total value of goods and services produced by citizens of country, regardless whether the production occurs within the country or abroad. So this is GDP plus NFI, net factor income from abroad. The difference between income earned by residents from abroad and the income earned by non-residents from the country. Now this we are just checking for the country, citizens of a country. This was within country's border. Even if you are a citizen, you are outside the country borders, doesn't matter, not counted. And if you're a foreigner is coming in India and earning, it is counted within a border. Now this gross national product is checking only nationality based. Even if you are out of the country, you are Indian, you are earning, we will consider that. And even if you are a foreigner and you come to India and you work, we will not count that. So GNP is that. So GDP is checking the output potential of a country, how much it is earning, based on other countries, competition at a uh, border level. Okay, this region India has a capacity to produce 100 billion words of products, so it is valuable as a country that way. And GNP it takes into account what the national, it's national happening because mostly people are taxed based on their nationality. So yeah. Next comes net national product. From the GNP, if you remove depreciation, value of goods and services, depreciation of machinery building, then it becomes NNP. And NDP, remember in GNP, we added in GDP, we added NFIA, so it becomes GNP. So now we are doing the opposite. Now we know NNP, we will add, we will remove NNP includes NFIA. We will remove the NFIA, it will become net domestic product. And that means net domestic product is nothing but GDP less depreciation. Personal income is equal to national income minus corporate tax minus retained earnings plus transfer payments, average of income of average Indian family receives including wages. What is disposable income? Disposable income is the amount of money households have left after paying taxes. It is income available for consumption and saving. Personal income and personal taxes. After paying income tax, the money left for an individual to spend or save. Next come measurement of national income. There are three different approaches: production approach, income approach, and expenditure approach. You measure how much the total value of the production of goods and services are. You add all the income done by individuals in the country, or you calculate the total spending of the goods and services in the country. So that is the measurement of national income: a production approach, income approach, expenditure approach. So today we covered a good amount of study material. Now we will study inflation from tomorrow. Inflation, business ethics, corporate governance, types of markets. So now we will go back to practicing rapid fire business management. Let's see how much time we have. We still have yet. Weber's quantitative approach we studied during World War II emphasizes that organizations are different and face different situations that require different ways of managing. This is contingency approach. There is no fixed plan or system that we have decided in contingency. It is as per the situation we will see how to deal with it. So for B it is 4. We can see only one of that. So you see in major list, even if you know one or two, you are able to solve the equation. Well, corporate governance I mentioned in the passage. So see, true financial performance of a company, openness and of a company, openness and governance policies give investors confidence. So that is what is the advantage. Just before it talked about the short-term gains. This I would say is justice, same wage, same rights. We will study this in ethics ahead. Demand increases rapidly when increase in consumers' income but slows down with further increase in income. Normal goods, right? Just after essential. We just studied this today. This we had seen innovative two types. One of it is true. So innovative organization focus on C mutual adjustment. I would say C and D. Missionary focus on norm standardization. Professionals do not focus on output. Professionals focus on skill standardization. Developing an organization structure. Okay. Enumerate. We discussed four properties. First, clarify the objective. Second, uh, find the group or establish the objective. Third, implement. Fourth, evaluate and monitor. And anything, any step other than this, we put in between these stuff. So enumerate and group the activities of the enterprise with consistent with determined objective. This will be in the earlier. A cannot be at the last. Enumerate means list. It just means list and group the activities. So this would A wherever it comes and the back is not the answer. This is not the answer. Okay. This could be, let's say, these more likely. Determine this one, clearly define the objective to determine the type. This C is the first. We see C is the first. It is defining, and then A. This we will go with this option. You see, that is how you answer the questions. Arrange the following historical events. We know Industrial Revolution will come first. This is done. In the rising income scenario, the obvious decision choices of firms having very low income. Rising income is rising, and your very low income elasticity. That means with rising income, the demand for your product will not change. It will remain the same. So, mm, suitable outcome for you would be, so let's say I'm selling, take a real example, salt. I'm selling salt. I know with rising income, very low change in demand, salt people will consume. So, will I search market, product line extension? Mm, I'm thinking B and D, but let's see. Yes, product innovation. I need to make some changes. I will make Tata Namak, Deshka Namak, or iodized salt. I will make it as iodized salt also. So that's why I went for those two. How does the passage describe corporate governance as a system? Introduction of full focus mission. Any strong statements like this is rarely true. Like a system capable of removing fraudulent activities was true, but 100% no, most probably not. Time ensuring but effective, hindering the risk of fraud. So see, hindering means stopping the risk of fraud. The occurrence of fraud and misalignment can be detected early for remedial action. It is always agreed that no system can remove fraudulent practices fully. Corporate governance is an open democratic system. They may appear long-winded or time-consuming. Is hindered with some drawbacks or hindering the risk of fraud. As a system, it decides open democratic we will go with, because as a system is important. How does the passage describe corporate governance as a system? Scientific management. Frederick Winslow Taylor started his career in a midway steering company, so we know that this will be at the starting of this. It won't be at the end. So we'll see. Uh, in 1877, Frederick Winslow Taylor started as a clerk. So 1877 means 1870s. That is true. Which of the following oligopolies firms architecture framework is often described as first moving advantage? We have studied this. Carnot is quantity competition. Stackelberg is price competition. Bertrand came third with quantity competition with first mover advantage, and this was 1939 or 1940s King demand curve, and it was about oligopoly firms. King model price different price elasticities below and above the price that they are selling. So we'll go for Bertrand model. Oh, Stackelberg. Bertrand was the second, third was Stackelberg. So what is our answer then? Score 10. So that's good for now. We have finished our session today. Time's up. 10 is also good. So you can see at the start we were scoring 2, 3, but after studying most of the units we have reached where we give 10 correct answers and then one wrong. Technically that is 90%. 91% correct answers. So we'll keep doing like this. We'll keep studying more. We'll give the exam this way and then we'll finish this unit. So thank you for joining. Any questions, do let me know in the questions below and we'll keep practicing self-study sessions like this. Thank you. See you tomorrow again. Bye bye.